For the latest on the Omotoso story, let's go live now to SABC News Reporter Sidima Mfeku. Sidima, good evening. So what's going to happen when we go back to court, because the proceedings have now been adjourned? What outstanding business is yet to be dealt with?
Well, good evening to you, Tembekile, and the rest of the viewers. When we're in court, Advocate Sakele Poswa, who is the representative of Timothy Omotoso, did mention in court that he would ultimately what he's going to argue is that he wants these proceedings to be halted or paused until Timothy Omotoso is given the 10 days that it's supposed to have been given to either review the deportation letter that he was given by Brim Mfunzana, who is the immigration officer who actually arrested him on the Saturday morning when he was arrested here in East London, because he's saying that the fact that this matter is going on, or rather is before court, before the expiry of the 10 days that he is supposed to have been given, that then is a prejudice and is infringement on his rights. So they basically arguing that they want this matter to be paused until Omotoso and his legal team are able to look through it and see if whether or not they want to, appeal this eviction or deportation letter, or the decision to declare him a prohibited person in the country.
And why is Omotoso, Sidima, fighting so hard to stay in South Africa?
Well, I guess it's because of, we can't really put a finger to it and say this is actually why he wants to stay in South Africa, but one might assume that it's because of how much he's grown in South Africa since the time that he's been here. You'd remember that Timothy Omotoso has got congregants across the country. He's got some in Durban, where when he was being interviewed by Brim Mfunzana, he mentioned that his home is in his house where he stays is in Balito in KZN, and that he was a pastor in KZN and had a church there in KZN. And if you look at some of what was said by those ladies that were part of the church in the criminal case that he was facing, they did mention that Timothy Omotoso travels across the country, and he has people that are in this church, or congregants that are across the country. Even here in East London, there's quite a huge number of people that have showed up in court to be his congregants. So I guess his popularity in South Africa is what makes him to be, to fight so hard to remain in South Africa. And also you think of some of the benefits that maybe come with it. These are people that are probably, giving out tithes to the church that are extreme. So these are nice benefits that anyone would want to stick around for. So I guess that's one of the reasons why Timothy Omotoso is fighting so hard not to be deported, but also the chances that he be allowed back in the country if he's deported at this point, I think they are very slim. I don't think the country would consider having him coming back if he's going to be deported, particularly based on what he has been implicated on, has been accused of, and also looking at some of the fraudulent activities that he's alleged to have done insofar as attaining the visa and the passports in 2017. So it's a very difficult position for him to actually just let it go so easily when he's got so many people that support him in the country.
And Sidima, the support that you're talking about was reflected in some of the skirmishes outside court between the supporters of Timothy Omotoso and those who are saying they want him gone from South Africa. What sparked those confrontations?
What has sparked the confrontation, what is the ongoing sentiments among the people that are against Timothy Omotoso here in the country, is that because he was acquitted of all the 32 charges of rape that he was facing in the Gqeberha High Court, that does not necessarily mean that, this is according to them now, that it does not necessarily mean that he does not have a case to answer. He did not do anything. It's just that he has been acquitted on a technicality that the NPA has fallen short in proving to the court beyond reasonable doubt that Timothy Omotoso is indeed, guilty of the charges. So they're saying that in their eyes, Timothy Omotoso is a rapist, and they're saying that they don't want him in the country. But also some of the people who came in to weigh in the conversation are pastors who've also taken a stand to say that they don't want him in the country because he's tainting the dignity of the belief or the religion, Christianity. They're saying that they from now on want to take a stand against people who pose as pastors but yet take advantage of the vulnerable for their own personal benefit. And they're saying that this is something that they have let, they've been easy on for quite a very long time, and now they want to make sure that they fight it. But another thing that has come up in court today was that Timothy Omotoso has filed an urgent application to the High Court in East London to have, the eviction or the deportation letter that he was given by Officer Aubrey Funzana, to have that letter set aside. So this is another thing that the matter that the defense is going to argue that the matter be paused for, because they want to allow for the process of that application to conclude, and then they only then will they be able to argue if whether or not this matter should be argued in court.
And very briefly, Sidima, where are we in terms of the NPA reassessing the collapsed case that it brought against Omotoso on the rape and sexual violence in the sexual violence trial, because it was reconsidering what to do next? Do we know when a decision will be announced?
Unfortunately, Tembegile, at this point, we cannot certainly say this is the actual date that whatsoever is going to happen. But what we do understand is that, that has been said or has been confirmed by the Department of Justice that they are considering looking into the ambits of the judgment and what possible action can be taken following from looking at the ambits of that judgment. So we don't know really at this point what or when what is going to happen. But what we do know is that the Department of Justice has come out to say that they're going to try and look at that judgment and review it and see if they can take any action further from there.
Sidima Mfeku, thank you so much for that. SABC News reporter on the Timothy Omotoso case around his alleged flouting of the country's immigration laws.